As we briefly discussed in our previous video, the British Prime Minister's terms in office show us a rotation system very similar to the terms in office of a president of any republic. So the next question is: what happens after a UK Prime Minister has served in office, regardless of whether retiring or returning to the House of Commons as an MP again? Well, the answer to that question is that what happens to UK Prime Ministers after the completion of their mandates in Downing Street is, once again, very similar to what happens to presidents of a republic, after they complete their mandates in office. But there is a fundamental difference. Whilst UK Prime Ministers can serve in office as many times as the electorate is happy to re-elect them, presidents of almost any democratic republic around the world are limited to a maximum of 2 terms in office, after which they must retire. In the UK, the more former Prime Ministers are still living, the more the privileges of retired Prime Ministers multiply, meaning the more the cost to the state, and therefore the taxpayers. Currently, there are 7 UK living retired Prime Ministers: Sir John Major, Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, David Cameron, Theresa May, Boris Johnson, and Liz Truss. All 7 are entitled to a package of privileges for life. Their full prime ministerial salary as life retirement pension. A state-funded chauffeured limousine. Full 24/7 police security for them personally and their immediate families. In republics around the world, these privileges are the same as the privileges enjoyed by former presidents of a republic. Some variations may occur from country to country, but the essential privileges are in most cases the same. Former presidents also get a furnished, equipped and fully staffed official office, all paid for by the state. But when you look at former prime ministers in a republic, all former prime ministers are potential candidates for the office of the president. Indeed, several former prime ministers or even former politicians may be elected into the presidential office at one point or another. It is important to stress that this is routinely the case in most republics, because in republic systems the office of president is seen as the culmination of a politician's career, the coveted cherry atop the cake. When a former prime minister is elected president of the republic, upon retirement after 1 or 2 terms as president, they retire with doubled privileges. The retirement privileges they already had as former prime ministers, and cumulatively the privileges they acquire as retired presidents. So in a republic, we routinely find several living retired former prime ministers along with living retired former presidents. This is where the retired former prime minister became a president at a later date. The one person is entitled to both retirement pensions and privileges, as former prime minister and former president. Let's look at an illustrative example of this, as it is one of the most commonly found in republics. Mário Soares, a Portuguese politician, is one of the hundreds of illustrative examples across the world, of how republics serve well career politicians, by offering them the possibility to become presidents of the republic at a later date, as a golden finish of their political career. Initially appointed Minister for Foreign Affairs from May 1974 to March 1975, and then Minister without portfolio after that, he returned to Foreign Affairs from October 1977 to January 1978, a post he jointly occupied with that of Prime Minister, to which he was elected from July 1976 to August 1978. Back to the opposition benches, he returned as Prime Minister from June 1983 to November 1985. Elected President of the Portuguese Republic with 51.1% of the vote, he was sworn in March 1986, and re-elected in 1991, until completion of his second and last term in 1996. Retired former minister, former prime minister and former president of the Republic, Mário Soares' declared annual pension was €500,000 per year, which, for the 21 years until his passing on the 7th of January 2017, represents €10.5 million in pension costs alone, excluding all other privileges charges. The Republic in Portugal costs just over 4 times the cost of the British monarchy and 5 times that of the Spanish monarchy. Indeed, all European monarchies are considerably cheaper to run than the Portuguese Republic. The high maintenance costs of the Republic in Portugal are not an isolated case at all, as large numbers of countries with republics experience the same issue when compared with monarchies.